Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the Acura MDX. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jody Wilkinson Acura here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this MDX. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 290 horsepower and then 267 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, you guys can see we've got some sharp body lines throughout. And then popping down below, I love the headlight design here at the MDX. And then you guys can see we've got parking sensors integrated in the front end, and then we've got some darker accenting, but we do have some chrome trim there in the center. And putting it all together, it definitely has a distinctive look, and it looks sporty even though this is not the sporty version of the MDX. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 255, 50, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, you've got the metallic gray. I think that looks really good. And then notice with the fender flares and the rest of the bodywork there along the side, we've got some more chrome trim there, and then also around the mirrors, the windows rather, as well. And then here's your full side view with the MDX. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our lock and unlock function, the opening for the hatch, and then the remote start, and then of course the Acura logo there in the back. Now taking a look at the cargo area, you guys can see we've got a decent amount of space behind the third row. We can also throw the third row down if you want even more space. That's what these little latches are for. And we have an outlet here in the back, and I like how you have this to close the hatch where it's got a little person walking away. But yeah, definitely practical, obviously for a third row. But anyways, we can also press this and that'll lower down the hatch. Now taking a look at the taillights, I like the kind of like swoopy design here. You can see all the rest of the badges here on the back. Also, it has a kick function with opening the tailgate. That's nice. Parking sensors at the bottom with the exhaust tips. And let me know what you guys think about the overall look here with this MDX Advance. Now taking a look at the door panel, you got soft touch here at the top, and then you guys can see the sunshade here for the rear passengers, and then nice stitching throughout. And I like that trim that goes across too. That's nice. And then here are the seats, you got the piping here perforated all down the center portion as well. And then you can see all the adjustments here on the side. Now we do have this nice button here that we can press to basically pull the seat forward so you can access the third row. Now like most SUVs crossovers in this segment, the third row has a decent amount of headroom, but legroom, as you can see, a little bit on the cramped side. So I would reserve the third row for kids. Again, it's every single SUV in this segment's like that. Now as for the second row, very spacious. You can very comfortably fit adults here. We also have a little storage pocket. We've got our own climate zone here. We've got heated seats in the back, a bunch of charging ports down below, and then headroom. It's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you've got soft touch here at the top, then you guys can see all the stitching and everything down below, and I like this trim too, that's nice. Got our memory seats here, all of our window controls, mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in, and there's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then taking a look at the front seat, again you can see the piping stitching perforated all down the center portion. Power adjustments here on the side with the Acura logo right there. And then we've got this for the heads-up display. You've got that for the safety text to be able to control parking sensors. And then the steering wheel is power adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see soft touch all around. You've got nice grips on it. It's a very sporty looking and feeling steering wheel. Anyways, you've got paddle shifters there in the back for the 10-speed automatic. We also have controls for our adaptive cruise control. You've got steering assist. You've got controls for the center stack, heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. And then we've got our regular stocks here on the back. So you got this fully digital gauge cluster here. We can scroll through these menus here on the side, see different bits of info on the vehicle itself. But of course, the exciting thing is the drive mode select. So when you put it in sport mode, it gets like all aggressive and everything, which is fun. And it makes a very video game-esque sound. Also, the drive mode select shows up here on the infotainment screen with the different drive modes, which is cool. And speaking of infotainment screen, we do have a 360 camera system, which the camera's kind of struggling to focus on, but you can see we got trajectory lines that turn the steering wheel. You got the bird's eye view. Resolution actually is really solid with the camera system. My camera resolution though is not very solid. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's controlled via a keypad. And is something that does have a little bit of a learning curve to it, but once you figure it out, you figure it out. Also, I don't think my camera's ever going to focus on this infotainment screen. It's also because of the lighting outside. Sorry about that. Anyways, you do have nice trim here on the dash. We also have a heads-up display, and you see that nice trim continues down below, and I totally just accidentally did the windshield wipers, and again. Anyways, more trim right here, and then you can see the darker trim above, and then I like the stitching that goes across the padding. And then we've got the glove box, which is pretty spacious. Got our tri-zone climate controls down below, and then we have heated and ventilated seats here with this version of the MDX. Your drive mode select, auto stop start brake hold, and then little charging port. Transmission select right here, and then this is the control for the infotainment system. Little keypad, some volume control right next to it, and then got some storage here, cup holders, got your wrist rest for that little infotainment system control, and then wireless phone charging pad. And then taking a look at the center console here, it's actually pretty dang big. Oops. I'm struggling this morning apparently. But yeah, good storage space there. Got some nice padding on the top, and then got a regular mirror it looks like, and then we've got a panoramic sunroof up top. Nice. Now here's a quick look at the window sticker. This is an advanced package, total MSRP after all options and everything, $65,595 on this Advance, which is about $10,000 less than a Type S for those of you that are wondering. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Home, you can see the heads-up display, both the mirrors, which you can do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear, and MDX away. So I want to do this review for a couple of reasons. I want to have a review for the 24 model year on a, loaded up MDX that's not a Type S, and that's what this is. And on top of that, I want to re-review the MDX for this year after reviewing the Honda Pilot Elite. Because the Honda Pilot Elite is supposed to basically be, again, the Pilot and the MDX are the same vehicle, but it's supposed to be Honda's MDX because it's a luxury Pilot. And I wanted to pop back in a loaded up MDX to see the differences, again, between them. So, first off, there's a little bit of a horsepower difference. The MDX has a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more torque. It's like 5 horsepower, 5 torque, basically more than what you have over in the Pilot. Makes a difference. Now, aside from the slight difference there, the big thing that's noticeable is the interior. So the design and then the material use, like the Pilot Elite was nice, but this has a much nicer looking and feeling interior, so there is definitely a difference there. And then obviously the looks, right? The MDX has a sportier look. The Honda has kind of more like a boxy look. They're going for like the off-roader aesthetic with that one. Pop into the sport mode. I will say though that driving with them is very similar. There's not as big of a difference as you might think. Now the Type S obviously drives way different than a Pilot, but the standard MDX here, there's a little bit of a difference, but it's not nearly as much as what you might expect. And seat comfort, really good in the MDX too, by the way. I know I kind of said nicer materials, but also more comfortable, I guess. Good torque. Yeah, I do like this engine. Some people might complain about a naturally aspirated V6 in this type of vehicle, but it's reliable, and I think it performs well. It's good. But again, if you want more power, they offer the Type S, so you still have that as an option. So I want to get into some things up here. This kind of confirmed a lot. You do get more with the MDX compared to the Pilot Elite. I think that, again, looks wise, some of you are gonna like the Pilot look more, some of you are gonna like this look more, so I'm just gonna leave that up to you. But when it comes to the interior, I think that I just like this interior more. It does feel more upscale. It does feel like you're getting more. And so I would call the Pilot Elite a base model MDX, but I don't think it, competes against an MDX Advance, if that makes sense. So I think that's kind of where the distinction can be made. But let me know if you would go with Pilot Elite or if you'd go with MDX.